can be the correct answer. So which implies that you cannot select only one answer. You have to actually select all the correct answers. Okay, so that's a multiple selection question. And finally, we have what we call as the TITA. TITA is type in the answer. What does type in the answer mean? Type in the answer means that you will have a question followed by a blank. You have to fill the blank. Okay, so this blank may be in English. So they may ask you to fill a word, they may ask you to fill an article, they may ask you to correct, a sentence or a word and rewrite it, the spelling mistakes types. So that can be one. It can be in maths where they ask you to enter the final answer. They do not ask you to enter the steps, but the final answer. So that's the beauty. That's why this is called as an aptitude exam, where application is sorted out and not the knowledge, which means it doesn't matter how many steps you have used to find out a final answer. Okay. What matters is what is the final answer and how fast have you arrived to it. So this is an overall pattern of an aptitude exam. Now, who uses this? If you actually look into any course that you want to do, right? Any course that you want to do, you will always find, n number of colleges which can offer you this course. So if there is someone who wants to do engineering, you will find thousands and thousands of colleges across this country which can offer you engineering. Similarly, you want to do commerce, you want to do humanities, you want to do CA, you want to do management, you want to do fashion, you want to do law, you will find numerous colleges offering you this program. So the point is, why then an aptitude exam, right? So because I have a lot of colleges offering this program, there are a lot of students who end up applying to top colleges. Okay. Hitanshi, you can unmute yourself and ask your doubt if you have any. So you have a lot of students who can apply to this college. So if this college, so let's assume my college is let's assume Christ, okay? So there is a college Christ. Now Christ has a program and it has 120 seats. So I'm not talking about the program, but let's assume it has 120 seats. And there are 1,000 people applying. So how do I decide if I am the college or if I'm the admission degree of the college, right? Admission department of the college, how do I decide whom to choose? Based on their marks? Only based on their marks? I think that trend is currently changing in this country, okay? Selection based on marks is changing in this country. So I do not do that. I take based on couple of, parameters that I want students to have. And one of the parameter is clearing an aptitude exam. Okay, that is one of the parameter. And that's why top colleges or institutes which has very high competition, these are the colleges which uses aptitude as one of the entry level strategy. Entry level strategy, it's like a gate, okay? It's like a watchman. He decides, so he allows everyone from one gate to the next gate, but whoever doesn't clear the aptitude goes out of the gate, okay? So that's the reason why an aptitude exam is conducted. Now, so let's move on, okay? Let's move on to this. Now the point comes is why an aptitude exam? So fair enough. The question is very straightforward now. We have understood that there is an aptitude exam. We have understood that, top colleges conduct an aptitude exam. But now I need to understand, why do they conduct only an aptitude exam? Why can't they conduct something else, right? Why am I not conducting? So let's assume that a student wants to do a management program, BBA. Why don't I test him on management questions? Because he wants to do management program, right? So why don't I test him on management questions? So for example, when someone wants to become chef, what do I test him in? I make him do some cook some food or food items, right? So I test him on that platform. If someone wants to be a singer, how do I test them? I test them on the singing side. So when you want to do a management program, why don't I test you on management side? Why do I test you on aptitude? The reason is that when you want to do a knowledge-based program, I have to test you on your knowledge. But as I said, not just your knowledge, but your application towards it. Now, when I look at the people who are writing these exams, they usually write after 12th, correct? So there are people from science background who write, there are people from arts who write, there are people from commerce who write. Now, there are three different kind of people writing an exam. And I need to have an exam which is common or whose platform is common for all. That's possible only when I give you questions or when I cover a syllabus which all of you have studied. And to my mind, the only syllabus that each one of you have studied commonly is syllabus till 10th. Okay? And the biggest syllabus where application, or the biggest subject where application comes first of the highest, level, and that's maths. So that's why an aptitude exam is conducted. Okay? That's one. Second, as we said, I have to segregate. If there are 1,000 people applying to my college, I have to segregate the best from the rest. Not based on marks, but based on many other parameters. So that's another reason why I conduct an aptitude exam. Third reason, as I said, I do not look only for a knowledge-based person. So I also require someone with the right attitude and the right approach to an examination. Okay, so that's the third one. Fourth, an aptitude exam, like we said, 100 questions in 120 minutes. This was an example. There are certain exams where you have to solve 100 questions in 60 minutes. Okay, so all these exams are actually a pressure exams. Okay, you go through certain pressures to write these exams, and the pressure is on the mind because you are racing against time, right? So you're trying to solve each question with either a minute or less than that. So it's a huge pressure for me. And just try to understand, imagine yourself in a situation that you are writing in an exam, you started an exam, and in the first minute, you couldn't solve the first question. In the second minute, you couldn't solve the second question. In the third minute, you couldn't solve the third question. And thus, in the fifth minute, you couldn't solve the fifth question. Do you understand the pressure you're going through? Because you have lost 5 minutes and you have not got even a single mark on your board, right? On your paper. So that's a pressure that it is. So it is also to test people who can handle, okay? And finally, it also tests the rule of consistency. So what does rule of consistency mean? Remember I told you a paper which contains 4 sections, okay? So let's say I'm giving you verbal, quant, logical reasoning, general knowledge. Clear? So 4 sections has been given. And let's assume there are 20 questions out of, I'm assuming this, okay? I'm guessing this. So 20 questions across sections. So how many questions are we talking about? 80 questions in the paper. Now, let's assume that 40 marks or 40 questions is a passing mark, okay? If you solve 40, you are done good. So I'm assuming, don't take this to be granted. So let's say if you have solved 40 questions, you're good. Now, I can have a person who will solve 40 questions solving maths and logic alone, right? He probably is very good in maths and logic. He solved maths and logic, and let's say he guessed certain questions on general knowledge, which he got it right, and thus he got 40 marks. Okay, done. Or there is a person who has, solved 10 questions from verbal, 10 questions for quad, 20 questions from logical reasoning, and 10 questions from general knowledge, and also has scored 40 marks. Now, if I have to choose one among the two here, one among the two, I will always give my first priority to this guy. I am sure you all know why. Okay, not because I will not give to this guy, even though he has answered more questions in maths compared to the other guy, more questions in logic compared to the other guy, but I will still give the logic of or the benefit to the first guy because he has consistently done that across the section. So that's very important here. Okay, so an aptitude exam is also given to see how consistent are you across the sections. Clear with this? We will come to this on very detailed programs in the later stage, okay? One by one, because before you attempt anything, you need to know what you're getting into, because that makes it that, information, depth information will always make you clear the biggest hurdle in a very easy way. Less information can actually make you cross even a turn even a stone with high difficulty. So you got to have informations in your hand. Now, what is the objective of an aptitude exam? So as we said, so this is a continuation of why aptitude exam. So objective of an aptitude exam is to check your attitude, see how your selection criteria are, right? Are you uniformly selecting, or are you concentrating only on one area of your strength? Which means you got to know while you're preparing. You have to know what is your strength and what is your weakness. And while writing an exam, you also have to know what is your strength and what is your weakness. Why? Because if I do not know what my weakness is, then I will start attempting those questions which will go wrong. And remember, negative marking, my score will actually start dropping. Okay. And finally, knowledge versus application. So you have to know. So the objective of an aptitude exam is not only to test your knowledge, but it also tests your approach in solving questions. Now, coming to the final part of it. So how do we prepare for aptitude? So if I have to, okay, so great, I have understood, I have now figured out what an aptitude exam is. I have figured out what kind of colleges will probably apply for, put an aptitude exam. So why is it important for me? Why is it important for me? Okay. So before I move on to glimpse, I would like to tell you why is it important. Certain, if you ask people who are in corporate world today, okay, people who are in corporate world today, most of them will tell you that it doesn't matter how much marks you got in your 10th, 12th, okay, in your career, it really doesn't matter how much marks you got in your 10th and 12th. But it doesn't mean that it's not important. It is important because that's what sets the pace for the next level of achievement that you want to do. But what matters is what brand are you carrying with yourself as an institute, right? In your profile, in your resume, in your curriculum vitae. So when I go to a college, when I go to a company, when I go to, let's say, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, wherever I go, right? Even if a startup company. And when I put my resume, and in the college, if they see, okay, this guy is from, let's assume, IIT. Okay. Oh, this guy is from Sri Ram College of Commerce. Oh, this guy is from Delhi University. When they see these brands, they have already positioned you above many other candidates, even before an interview has started, has begun. Okay. They have positioned you above many other candidates. You know why? Not because they are influenced with these brands, because they know that to get an admission into these brands, you have to win a race, right? A race of an aptitude exam where 1,000 people write and probably 100 people get selected, which means you have already beaten 900 people in that race. I hope you have understood. So you have already proved that you are, no matter what the reason may be, okay? Someone's day was bad, your day was good, or your day was bad, someone's day was good. No matter what the reason is, but ultimate result is that you have beaten someone else and come up in that race, right? So the person who's interviewing you, the person who's judging you, the person who's looking into your profile already knows that you have proved it once. Okay. And that's why the brand plays such a vital role. So never ever make a choice of career in colleges based on comfort level, based on ease to get, based on, security reason. So I want to make you understand what security is. Security reason is, oh, I can go to this college from my house. It's so very near. I can just walk down or cycle, right? I don't even have to struggle in public transport. And parents are safe that, oh, I do not have to buy two-wheelers for my vehicle, for my kid, my child will be very safe. They can, she or he can just walk down the street and attend the college and come close to house. So these are security reasons. Security reasons are not what makes us pick our career. So because if it was security reasons that we pick our career, then let's understand that we all would have been still living our life in a village. Because if I have to go back generations, right, my forefathers probably were in village, right? So we would have still lived in a village and worked into agriculture and farming. So security is not the reason why you choose. You choose career for the growth purpose. So when you're so let me put it in this very straightforward. Parents, right, elders make a decision of going to metros, continents, countries for brands and for growth, career growth. They are doing it now. Why? Because they did not have an opportunity to do it then. Okay? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they didn't have an opportunity to do that. Whereas you, because of technology and because of knowledge, have an opportunity to do that selection now. So that's the difference. Okay. So you do the selection now, you will be 10 years, 20 years faster than the previous generation. Okay. You do the selection 10 years later, you will be in the same pace as previous generation. So choice still remains with you. Great. Coming back. What do I have to do if I have to crack an aptitude exam of one of the toughest colleges of this country? Let's put it in this way, the topmost college of this country, right? Oh God, there is a college where I really want to take an admission, but I know that only toppers get in. I will never have a chance. No, if it has an aptitude exam, if it has an entrance exam, then everybody has a chance, okay? But the way you prepare for them will vary, and that's what you have to concentrate on. So first point is you have to concentrate on that preparation every day. You have to concentrate on that preparation every day. So it becomes a daily task. So 1 hour, if I have to prepare for that, I'll prepare for that. Half an hour I have to prepare for that, I'll prepare for that. 2 hours I have to prepare for that, I'll prepare for that. But I will not lose even a single day without preparing. Okay, so that's one. Second, when I prepare for any exam, it's mainly I'm talking about an aptitude or an entrance exam, right? I have to concentrate not only on my strength, but even on my weakness, on my opportunities and my threats, right? So that's second that I want. Again, I will come when we come to test taking strategies, we'll cover this. Reading habit, one of the most important and most neglected area. Okay, technology has actually neglected us a lot on the reading side. Frankly speaking, though we are exposed to a lot of information, we seldom use those information. So reading habit is something that you have to create and keep it uniform every day. You got to look into, while solving a question, you have to look into alternative approach. I'll try to show this to you. And you have to concentrate on various methods to solve. So this is also something that I want to show. Okay. So now I want to show glimpse. Now, what is this glimpse? Glimpse is where I'm going to throw up certain questions to you all. Okay. Few questions I will solve for you, making you understand how you have to prepare. Few questions I want you to solve and tell me an answer either in a chat box. Okay. And if chat box is not enabled, if it is disabled, then please unmute yourself and tell me the answer. Okay. The first slide that I'm going to show you now under glimpse. So if you see this slide, it says God's own problems and it has three different kinds of questions. So I want one after the other, one by one. Let's answer this, okay? So the first question, I want you to see this question and unmute yourself. Anyone and everybody, unmute yourself and tell an answer. Please remember, do not worry about whether your answer is right or whether your answer is wrong. What you have to worry is, did I participate? That's all you have to worry. So first one, is there anyone who can unmute themselves and tell me what the answer you think is going to be?
So none of the above.
So
Ashmita,
none of the above.
thanks a lot. Thank you.
Option B.
So
Option
anyone
B,
else,
100.
guys? Now, who's that? Manisha, is that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Manisha, do not unmute. Just be, sorry, do not mute yourself. Just be on unmute. I will come back to you. So Manisha says 100. And I guess Ashmita says none of these. Now, I want you guys to tell me, anyone, what are the others guys thinking about it?
None of these.
None of these. Samruddhi says none of these. Okay, guys. So what are others thinking about it?
Sir, 125.
So none of these.
125. Manikanta says 125. Then someone else also says none of these. So there are a lot of people telling none of these. Okay, great. So 125. So I also get 125. So I need to understand from Manikanta and the other person, how did you get 125?
5 cube is 125, right, sir? That's what.
Absolutely right. 5 cube is 125. But why did I take 5 cube,
2
Manikanta?
square is 4. Though,
Uh-huh.
So I think that's why 5 cube may be related from these
Okay.
options.
So 2 square gives me 4. So 5 cube gives me 125. Okay, this is right. But then the point comes is, when I'm talking about 2 square here, why am I talking about 5 cube and why not talking about 5 square? Okay, so that's the one thing. Great. Okay, now who was this? Manisha, it was you, right? Who said 100?
Yes, sir.
Please tell me how.
2 cube minus 2 square and 5 cube minus 5 square.
2 cube minus 2 square is 4 and 5 cube minus 5 square is 100. So Manisha, why did you come out with this example or this? How did you get this information? Hello, Manisha, you there? Okay, so let's I don't know, I think she's not able to hear me. Anyway, let's look into this. So I'm going to erase this before we come back. Now, if 2 is 4, then 5 is what? What does this question mean? It means that by using 2, how can I get 4? Okay? And in a similar pattern, by using 5, what can I get? So usually what we do, we look into various possibility of getting 4 by using 2. So 2 into 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 square is 4. Okay? Now, what are the other possibilities with respect to 5? 5 into 2 is 10. 5 plus 2 is 7. And 5 square is 25. Now, since there are no options here which is falling under the same category, typically most of us will click on none of these. But the point is, have we tried everything that's possible? No. As Manisha said, there is one arrangement which also gives me 4 by using 2. That is 2 cube minus 2 square also gives me 4. So when I use 5 in the same arrangement, what does this give? 5 cube is 125, 5 square is 25, 5 cube minus 5 square gives me 100. So thus, that becomes my answer. Now, why did I show you this question? Okay, so one reason is that I will always come up, there will always be a question in your paper which will be easy for everyone who's writing that exam. Okay? Which is going to be easy for everybody who's going to write that exam. Everybody will mark an answer, but hardly anyone will get it right. Okay, because they are questions which are created to trap you. Okay, they are questions created to trap you. Done? That's one. Okay. Second one. I'm sure most of you have already solved the second one and the third one, and you're ready with your answer. So can you tell me what is the answer for the second one? Anyone?
In the question?
E.
Yeah, so question is find the odd man out. So out of the 4 options, you have to find which one is the odd man. Odd man, Ishwar, odd man means a letter which does not fit in the same series like the other alphabets. Okay, so someone said E. Okay, so this is one answer that someone has given. How about others, guys? So I see what, 28 people here, right?
Sir, it's E.
And Vanshika says E. Great. Anyone with any other answer?
Sir, it's E.
E. Anyone with
Sir,
any
D.
other answer, or all of you are saying as E?
D.
Correct.
D.
Great. So why did you say E?
Sir, D. D.
It's a vowel.
It's a
Because
vowel.
it's a vowel.
Okay. And someone said some other answer. Now, who's that?
So I have one more explanation as to why it could be E.
Okay.
So if we compare the alphabets to the number system, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, E is 5,
Right.
which is an odd number. So that way it
Okay.
can also be C.
C is 3. Yes, an odd number. Right. Oh, you are on mute, Ashmita. So fine. Someone said D as an answer. Did anyone answer D? I heard someone saying this as an answer.